Hi, welcome back to my channel. So I'm in the process of redesigning Scarlett O'Hara's curtain dress. If you haven't seen my corset video or my crinoline video, make sure to check those out. They'll be in the description down below, and I'll put them somewhere up in the cards because every historical garment needs proper foundation. So that is around here. I also used the free petticoat pattern from Truly Victorian, which will also be linked below. I did not document that process. It was super simple, but I just felt like I didn't need to put the video together when you can hop on over to Truly Victorian and grab the pattern for free. So in this video, we're going to go over the skirt. So for this skirt, we're going to need velvet. We're going to need taffeta, satin. So let's get on into crafting. So I'm using the Truly Victorian TV 240 1860 ballgown skirt pattern, and this pattern has 3 different circumferences for the skirt: a 120-inch hoop, a 135-inch hoop, and a 150-inch hoop. I decided to go with the 120-inch hoop since this needs to fit under a whole other dress. So for this one, I cut out 7 of the skirt base in this olive green taffeta, and I stitched all of these panels together. And for the top of the skirt, I cut out 7 panels of this deep green velvet. I have never worked with velvet before, and I didn't realize how difficult it was to iron without destroying the texture of the fabric. So what I wound up doing was setting my iron up like this and running the fabric over the iron and gently pressing the seam with my fingers. This allowed me to control the amount of weight that was on the fabric and prevented the pile on the velvet from getting crushed. Then I pinned the overskirt to the waist of the underskirt and stitched that together. Next, I created the waistband by cutting a piece of taffeta down to my waist size. I do not recommend using taffeta. I found out that it just makes a terrible waistband. So I wound up cutting this off in the end, and I actually need to replace it with something else, which I still haven't done yet, but that is on my to-do list. Next, I gathered up the waistband of the skirt. I used my machine to stitch in gather stitches by running the longest stitch on the machine along the top of the skirt. I do this in sections though, so that if one of the strings breaks, which often happens, I don't have to redo the entire thing. Next, I need to pleat the ruffle following this diagram. So there are 6 panels in this ruffle, and I need to complete pleats in a way that hides the seams on the ruffle, or at least that's how I want it. I'm not sure that that is necessary. So first I sewed all the ruffle sections together at the side seams, and then I hemmed it with a rolled hem on the bottom. I also serged along the edges because this taffeta frays like crazy. And then I measured along the top edge of the ruffle every 34.5 inches. Then I pinned the ruffle to the taffeta underskirt along the bottom with right sides together, matching these marks that I just made to the side seams of the skirt. I folded the excess ruffle material into a double box pleat following the diagram in the instructions. I will say this was extraordinarily complicated. It seems simple, but it was really difficult to get the pleats even all the way along the skirt and get that excess fabric hidden. On top of that, I could not pleat this in a way that hid every single seam on the ruffle, which I did not like. I redid this several times before I stitched it onto the skirt. So there's a problem. So I knew I was going to run into a bit of an issue because the instructions for the hoop skirt on the website was for a 126-inch hoop, and the instructions for the skirt I was making was for a 120-inch skirt. So I knew that was going to be an issue, and it is. You can see that the skirt is several inches off the ground. But for some reason, I was hoping it would still work out. But that's part of the reason why I haven't finished the hoop yet, so that I have, so I'll be able to adjust it down if I want to. However, I don't really want to. I don't want the skirt smaller. I think it's exactly where it should be. So the way this is supposed to look is this velvet is supposed to lift up and into like this nice little drape, and then it reveals the box pleats underneath. But I am not happy with this skirt, ignoring the fact that it's too short. The box pleats don't like to hold down at the bottom. I could steam it or iron it, but in the instructions I see that the box pleats are not that way. Like in the example build, they let them fall out towards the bottom, but I just don't like that. And I know I'm struggling with hemming this thing, and I don't know, I don't like it. And I put it on the mannequin last night. Like, the waistband is not good. I have to redo the waistband completely. It's actually too small. And I made it out of the taffeta, which was a terrible idea because it needs some sort of structure up there. But I put it on the mannequin last night, and I was like, I hate this. I hate this so much. I was so close to just being like, I should pull out of this. My heart is not in it. I don't want to finish it. I think like 1860s just might not be for me. It's just not my decade. I don't like it. But I slept on it instead of just, burning everything. So I slept on it, and this is my first time looking at it since I got up, and it's still really hard for me to put my finger on what I hate about this, but I think I have a solution. So to fix it being too short and keep following the pattern, I have two options. One is reduce the circumference of the hoop, the actual like steel within the hoop skirt, to hopefully bring this down. But here's the problem with that. I tried this on without the hoop and without the petticoat, and it barely touched the ground. So I think even doing that won't solve my problem. And I'm pretty sure that will just, waste a bunch of steel in the hoop skirt, and then I would be like no better off than I am now. The other option is the one I think I'm going to go with. So I think I've decided I hate the color of this green. This is not the green I wanted for this dress. I wanted like a pale sage green, like a cool toned green, but this is the only taffeta I could find online in a lighter green. And I think I hate the color combo. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't go together as nicely as I thought it was going to. So this velvet fits fine over the hoop. The underskirt up to here fits mostly fine over the hoop. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to remove this box pleat bottom and just get rid of it. And then I think I'm going to take some of my leftover velvet and create a ruffle that starts up here and actually goes to the floor and just ruffle all of that together. And then I think I'm going to do kind of what I did on Jekyll and Hyde, where you create a ruffle, and then like 3 inches down is what I'll do. You put a straight stitch through that, and you capture those gathers in. It just creates like a nice little poofy texture moment. I think I'm going to do that. And then I will still raise this up into this little swag type detail, and you'll get that texture revealed in these little gaps. I think I'm going to do that. And then I think I do want to get some contrasting, maybe some satin in this pale green I'm imagining, and I want to put bows here. Maybe some white. White might look nice. Put some bows around it, put some bows on the sleeves of the bodice, and then I'm going to make a rope that's supposed to be like the tie back from the curtain. And I want it to be this dark green, and then I guess maybe that white, if that's what I choose to go with. And that's just going to like tie around the waist or something. Maybe I'll make some tassels as well to hang off from the drapes. I don't quite know, but I'm in a position right now that I'm not a fan of. I am unhappy, and I don't really want to put a lot of work into this because I'm not inspired anymore. So I think this will be my easiest solution, and I'm going to attempt it today, and I really hope it works out, because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I do not have time to start over with a new design. Well, I don't have time to start over with a whole new design. I could probably make a new skirt. But yeah, that's what I have. We'll see how it goes. So with that, I ripped the ruffle off, cut out 2 very long, extra wide pieces of velvet, and gathered those on the sewing machine. I gathered it along the top and then once again along the middle to create a double gather. I don't have videos because I was really frustrated and just forgot to record, but I did sew that onto the taffeta underskirt. Followed the instructions to do the pickups all around the top of the skirt so that the velvet pulled up to reveal the double gather, and then to hide the horrible looking pleating at each of those seams, I added some yellow satin bows, which I do think it turned out quite nice in the end. I am contemplating one final bow in the very back like Sailor Moon, but we'll see. I also added some gold curtain tassels that just drape down underneath each bow. But I do like how this turned out, but I definitely would not make this again. So I hope you like this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!